Hmm. Hey, it's me, ABSD, and welcome to the Inner Dialogue podcast. Inner Dialogue is a space unveiled from filters and sitting in vulnerability. It's your inner thoughts, the inner conversation you have with your inner self, and my goal is never perfection, but starting and growing as I go. Today is Thursday, November 9th, 2023. It's 11:19 a.m. and I am live from my office. I haven't referred back to the original description of inner dialogue in a podcast episode since early episodes. Something that has been a good reminder for me recently is that I am not here for perfection, but I am here for growth. And holy shit, this week has been a week of growth. And I'm still growing through it, and it's still raw and vulnerable. And so I am sitting in this space today to talk a little bit about the feelings and big emotions that I have been combating, but also to show that there are so many layers of a self-healing journey, and having moments or days where things feel really unaligned and the emotions and feelings inside of me feel big. And they are all coming up for a reason when they are. And the reminder that I'm giving myself today is that I am not doing this alone. I forget that a lot. And then I make things harder for myself because I forget the fact that I'm not doing this alone, that I have God angels in the universe that are constantly wanting to work with me and be on my side and bring me answers and perspective and nudges and serendipitous actions and coincidences, everything. And I've had to give myself a big childhood hug this week and a lot of grace in my journey. I don't even know where to begin. Essentially this week, I got a phone call from Nick that we got a letter in the mail from one of our banks that all of our credit limits for the credit cards in that bank, they had lowered the limits. And it is this news, not that big of news, but essentially kicked up a lot of dust and dirt that have been sitting in my room that I have not cleaned up or addressed. And so many feelings of unworthiness came up. So many feelings of I'm not capable. What the fuck am I doing? Why am I here? Why am I alive? Why do I exist? What is my purpose? Truly, I was catastrophizing on a grand scale. It was not small. And it was about 3 days, 2.5, 2 solid days, but 2.5 days where I was just in and out of soul sobbing. And that is a term that has come to me recently because of this experience. When I got this call, I was doing overnights with a family and I was there for 4 nights. And so I got this call on a Sunday, and I had already planned to drive home Monday when the kid was at school so that I could be at home and see my family and just be in my own space for the day, because I still had 2 more nights in this overnight. And the conversation came up before we went out to lunch that day, and then we came home, and it was truly a soul sob. And Nick looked at me and he said, "Alyssa, it's like you are like your soul is mourning. And so many of my feelings that continue to come up have been around the idea that in the current society that we live in, our worth as a human being is attached to the amount of money that we can bring in. And society tells us that the amount of money that you bring in and the quality of your life it determines how much you are worth. And I have had a processing and a hard time like navigating these feelings because I have no desire for my worth as a human being to be tied to the amount of money that I bring in weekly or monthly or annually at that matter. And I was in therapy yesterday because I go to therapy weekly, and it's a practice that I need because I have so much that is going on in my world and head, and constantly. It's constant. It is constant. And it's just, I invite in newness all the time. That newness comes all the time. And that also can bring some overwhelm because it's a lot. It can be a lot. It can be a lot. And I invite it in, and I'm glad that all of these newness things are coming, but there will be times in my life and in my journey where it all just compiles to be like almost too much at once. And this past week, it was a lot. It was a lot. And so as I'm sitting in therapy yesterday, and I just came in that rawness and just like continued to feel this soul mourning that I was going through, and like processing like that I don't want my self-worth to be tied to the amount of money that I make, and why do I feel that, and breaking down some of those feelings. And my therapist helped me reframe it of like, okay, Alyssa, if your worth is not tied to money, can we attach that your time is worth money and remove yourself from that? But like you yourself, your time, the time that you are giving, the time that you do something, can that be worth money? And that was a really good reframe for me. And I already feel better. I already feel better about it internally of this event and moment in my life. There's a lot of other pieces that are attached to this that I don't fully have words for yet and have not yet fully processed. And so some of this it's still so fresh. It is still so fresh. But I feel grateful that it happened. And I was reframing that already on Sunday, right after I got the phone call, of just processing it in real time as much as I could, because everything really happens for me. And so if this is happening, there is a greater reason of why this is happening, and I just can't see it yet, and I don't know it. But I have to continue to root in that faith and trust and love that this is happening for a greater purpose and a greater reason. And that purpose might be so that we start making some intentional changes in our life. That purpose might be closing a door for a reason and opening another one that just is not I'm not made aware of yet. But it does not change anything about my worth, my value as a human, the perspective that I have, the love that I have, the fact that I am enough. And none of this changes my inherent worth as a human being. And the amount of money that I make, that does not change the amount of worth that I have as a human being. And I have been doing a lot of work around money the last couple of months because I am manifesting money. I am manifesting wealth. I am manifesting abundance into my life, overflow into my life. And I know that it's right around the corner, and it is still right around the corner. And over the last month, I have talked about it a lot less because I have continued to just root in that faith and that love and knowingness and giving it some space to breathe and some space for the universe to give me like signs and nudges of what else that I need to work on as my human self so that the universe can bring me what I am asking for and that we can be aligned on the same vibrational frequency so that that manifestation can come into my life. And I feel this was one last kick of the dust that I have not cleaned up in the corner of my room, that I have left just like this pile and allowed it to grow a little bit and to get dusty. And it just like kicked into my face and lungs this week, but I'm grateful for it because I feel like I am in the process of clearing those limiting beliefs and clearing more space and raising my vibration. From where I was on Sunday to where I am now, the last few days have been emotional. They have been at times very painful. And I've had to ask for a lot of help and a lot of love and a lot of patience from multiple people. And I don't normally share my vulnerability when I'm going through something actively. But this week, there were just people brought into my life that I am grateful for the timing of it and the perspectives that each of them brought. I have really leaned on Nick, my partner, this week in this and asking for just love and patience and just space to sob. When I am with him, the sob that comes out of me is much deeper and powerful than the held back sob that I have with other people. And then on Tuesday, I had a call with my boss, and we were talking about just things moving forward and pieces that are moving and shifting. And this call was not supposed to happen on Tuesday. And I told him when he reached out and was like, I have a meeting that canceled. Are you available to meet? I feel like we have some things to get on the same page about. And I was like, yes, I can meet, but I am in a very emotionally vulnerable, raw place today. And I don't know how that'll show up, how I'll show up. And I'm grateful that we had the conversation that we did because it opened up a lot to allow me to gain clarity so that I can bring clarity into the conversation that we'll have today. And I have a lot of gratitude around that. But damn, that conversation was, I cried my way through the whole thing because I could not stop sobbing that day. And I was so raw. And then I called Nick right after and cried to him for about 45 minutes. And then in my women's guidance facilitator program that I'm taking, I had my connection call with one of the other women who are taking the program. And I just cried my way through that call too. Not nearly as much, but it was amazing to connect with her the way that I did. And the timing was just very serendipitous. And although it stretched me vulnerability wise and stretched me just like self wise, I am grateful for all of the people who were placed into my life throughout the last couple of days to help continue to help me process and to bring up pieces that I have not processed and I have not worked through in my own self, and the importance of continuing on that healing journey. The reason why I wanted to come into this space today and share some of these pieces is I think it's important to know and to see that this journey is not linear. And if you are on a self-healing journey, you have probably heard that term before. Somebody has probably told you that sentence when you have been mid meltdown or mid soul sob. And been processing really hard shit, and my therapist continued to remind me yesterday because I was catastrophizing, so hardly catastrophizing. And I just feel like I've done nothing. Like for 18 months, what the fuck have I done and what do I have to show for it? Which is so false because I have done so much over the last 18 months. And if you just take the pinhole lens of just my healing journey and just my self-growth journey, that alone has been an incredible journey and an incredible growth that has happened there. And the time and energy and the work that I've done on myself alone in the last 18 months, I was not giving myself credit for. But then you tack on everything else that I have spent time and energy and continued to gain clarity about and acceptance about. And I'm so proud of myself. I'm so proud of myself. But when I am in that catastrophizing place, my brain is only in that catastrophizing place. It can't move its way out of that because it wants to just continue to be like, you're horrible, which again is so false. And but to me, it's all part of this nonlinear growth journey, and I have to continue to give myself grace. And so this episode is called Grace in the Journey, and I wanted to bring this piece of vulnerability and this piece of openness into my inner dialogue space today because I feel it is so important to know and to see and to be reminded that we're human. And as human beings, we are complex creatures and we are navigating and feeling a wide range of feelings and granting grace around how those feelings come up, when they arise, how you're processing and navigating through them. Grace is the answer. And as I was editing episode 17 today, Home Alone, there was a reminder in there that was really beautiful that I needed to be reminded of today. And that reminder is that I am not doing this alone. I often continue to go back to doubt. And that is just why, like, the reminder today, I was like, I have been taught this lesson so many times, and it is still integrating into my life because not doubting what I am doing, not doubting who I am becoming and who I am and how I am showing up in the world. I do doubt myself. I have doubt. And the reminder in that episode today was that I'm not doing this alone. And doubt comes when I feel like I am doing this alone and when I am not using the beauty and divinity that is God, angels, in the universe, and when I am not using the power that is within me to, like, the divinity that is within me to tap into my higher self, to live as my higher self, to live as my power, and to allow that power to be seen and shown and shine and be beautiful. It was a great reminder. This is such an interesting journey to be on, and it is such an interesting journey to share with other people and to share with the internet, and to allow myself to be vulnerable is beautiful. And I have so much courage, and I continue to strengthen that courage muscle every time I show up into this space, every time that I bring perspective and thought and a piece of my journey into this space. My courage muscle gets stronger and stronger, and I am incredibly grateful for that. Incredibly grateful for that. And this journey that I am on has had so many challenges and has stretched me in new challenging ways each and every day that I am living as a human being in this body. And I'm at a point in this journey where I'm at a turning point, and I can feel that I'm at a turning point, and I can feel that I am ready to move forward and ready to stop hiding and ready to be seen fully by me, right? Like I continue to show up in this space and I continue to be authentic and to be me, but behind closed doors, I'm not always honest with me because some of the thoughts and desires that I have require a lot of fucking work, time, energy, effort. And as human beings, we are designed to take the path of least resistance. And I am learning how to take the path of least resistance, but also allow myself to be challenged and like do things that are worthwhile and not be afraid to do something because it's going to take a little bit of time or because it's going to take some energy and take some time to build. And I might not see the direct result of the thing that I am building in one day, but that does not mean that it's not worthwhile of my time and my energy of doing. And I'm grateful for this space. I'm grateful for this podcast. I'm grateful that I get to come into this space each and every time that I log in and bring myself, bring my inner dialogue. It's so interesting to go back and to edit episodes because I'm now editing right at this current moment. The episode that I just edited was recorded 4 months ago. And it'll post, I scheduled it to post on Sunday. So a few days from now. And that feels safe to me, giving myself space between when something is recorded and the vulnerability and courage that it takes to show up at the level that I am showing up for me, and then giving it to the world in the way that I'm giving it and allowing whoever wants to take the time to listen to it to listen. And I'm grateful for every single person who tunes into the inner dialogue space and sits in this space with me. And it is a beautiful journey. And it is like listening to a different version of myself. Every single time that I edit an episode, it is such a snapshot of where I was at that specific moment in time. And it's like a audio diary of my life. And I know I've said this a couple of times in the last couple of episodes that I've just recorded, but I think that's like finally sitting in with me, like fully, of just what this is. And I've just kind of been going with it, like I created this podcast because it was put on my heart, and it's been extremely fun. And it's been a hobby that I am like enjoying and love to show up in. And I'm grateful for the space that I've created for myself. And I'm grateful for what I have continued to build and will continue to build in this and all of the places it's going to take me. It's so cool. It is so extremely cool. There is so much grace to be had. And I'm just grateful for grace today. I'm grateful for waking up in my own bed. I'm grateful for free coffee coupons. Our coffee pot broke while I was gone, and Nick made a comment of, what are we going to do for coffee? And I actually randomly had a free coffee coupon from one coffee shop and then a different free coffee coupon and a donut from a different coffee shop. And so this morning I went out and got 2 free cups of coffee and a free donut, and just it was really serendipitous, and it felt really nice to be able to take advantage of those free resources that I had. And especially since our coffee pot broke, we should probably order one so that we have coffee. We love coffee. I love coffee. As you are on your own healing journey, my hope and prayer and joy and love is that this space is a place for you to take something away from, to hear that you are not alone, to hear something that might resonate or that you integrate into your own life or practice, because trying it out and seeing if it works for you. There are so many tools and resources out there when it comes to a healing journey. And whether you're taking the mindset route or the spirituality route or the therapy route or whatever route you're taking, there are so many that you take advantage of the resources that are available. There are so many beautiful resources that exist in the world. And if this podcast is one of those resources for you, like, fuck yeah. I'm so grateful for that. I'm so grateful that my journey can be something that you resonate with and take something away from into your own life and practices. I am imperfectly perfect, and I am as human gets. And I think it's so important to remember that the people that we are seeing and experiencing in life are human. We all are. And we are all just trying to figure out what it means to be human in our own version, in our own self, in our own bodies and lives and the experiences that we've had. And every single experience that each one of us has had in our lives makes up who we are and the beauty of our uniqueness and authenticity in the world. And being able to shine inside of that authenticity, shine inside of the unconditional love that you have for yourself and that the world needs to see, because your gift is worthy and beautiful and needed for this world, for where this world is going, for where this world is already at. And your unique gift and your authenticity is beautiful. And I am so fucking excited to see what your specific love and gift that you want to give the world is, and how you do that, and the beauty that comes with that journey and experience. Today, this is a reminder to give yourself some grace, to give yourself a little hug. And maybe that's a physical hug that you give yourself today, or maybe you do a visualization technique and you give your childhood self a hug. I love doing that. My child self, I love going back and giving her a hug and telling her that she was just doing the best that she knew how to do. And the people around her were just doing the best that they knew how to do. And that those experiences, I wouldn't trade for anything, because they make me who I am. And there are some experiences I have in my life that I could have done without. You know, I could have lived a whole life and not had the experiences that I had, but they happened. And I can't change that. It's already in the past. And so I'm not going to sit in my past and be angry that those experiences happened, but rather be grateful that I survived them and the lessons that came along with it, because I can't change it. I can only move forward. I can only live in the present moment and know that whatever comes in the next present moment is going to be just as beautiful and give just as many lessons. And I have so much gratitude for each moment that I get to live in this life and in this bodysuit and in this soul. And I'm grateful for that for you in your life, that you have that opportunity to live in the present moment, to live as who you are, to shine as who you are. And as you go throughout the rest of your day, I encourage you to love loudly. I encourage you to take up space. I encourage you to give yourself some grace and to look in the mirror and say, hey, self, I love you so fucking much, you sexy ass human being. And I'm so proud of you and all that you have done to be in and where you are in this moment, in this life today. I am so proud of you. I love you so deeply. And thank you for sharing the inner dialogue space with me today. I love you. Bye.